Hello, beautiful. Welcome to Stepping into the Light with Julia Treat. That's me, your host for today's segment. I just want to give a shout out to all of you. I know that you're working hard, you're hanging in there, and bravo. We're all in this together. We're in this great awakening together, and we are all doing our part to help change this world and make it into the most beautiful place that it was meant to be. So when I saw this young woman's interview the other day, Olivia Black, I knew I had to have her on my show because she is, she has special gifts that she is using to help the children. And I know from her story, it took a lot to come out to do this work, but she felt the calling, I guess, and heard the calling, whatever it may be. And I'll let you talk more about that, Olivia. But guys, I want you to hear her story, and then also how she may be able to help, maybe your child, your friend's child, or just something you hear from our conversation, all right, that might help you moving forward in this battle, all right, in this battle between good and evil. We know that the big evil beings are being taken down, but us here as these spiritual warriors, we are needed to do our part. And Olivia's doing her part. I'm covered in chills right now. Olivia's doing her part in an amazing way. And so I just wanted to share her story with you. So Olivia, welcome. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I saw you on my friend Kathy Hartman's show. And Kathy, man, she's never stopped either. She just keeps, she's a warrior too for God and for God's source, whatever you call that. But when I heard your story, and I want you to talk about it a little bit, like kind of where you came from. I am putting the title on this. I kind of been leaning into it, but it's really like something like intuitive catching petals. That's what we are doing. And I caught one of the largest child trafficking or pornography providers in the Poconos here in Pennsylvania several years ago. It was all because I was guided to see what he was doing at a water park. That is on my other podcast, guys. You can look it up. It's just I caught a pedo at the water park. That's actually the name of the segment. So I want to talk about how you got into this work and it from your own experiences from a child. And I think a lot of us are learning. We had experiences as children that now are leading us to a purpose here of how we can change things so that doesn't happen any longer. So wherever you want to start in the story, perhaps when you were younger and how, I mean, it's up to you. It's your story and take it away.
Well, it kind of leads me to my next big project. And so you're helping me bring it out and kind of like being able to speak in a public forum in a podcast this way. My big, new story that I'm working on is Memoirs of a Medium, and where it all started and how I knew I was a medium and how I had to see a horrific situation with a spirit in my home that was a child.
Wow.
That's how far this goes.
Yeah, and I really want to say too, real quick, guys, this can be used for good or bad. Okay, I hope you're finally learning that. And there's those of us that are here changing the world in the most beautiful way, and that's why I want to share stories like yours. We're making changes. So thank you for coming out of the closet with the rest of us. I know what it takes. I know what it takes.
Literally. And I had a difficult childhood, but I think if not all mediums and psychics that I've spoken to throughout the progression of my career, we've all come from suffering in our childhoods, being considered black sheep, scapegoats, being raised by toxic, abusive, narcissistic parents.
I lived. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
I lived in a house with a lot of paranormal activity. In the early 80s, in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I guess I could name the city. And my father was kind of high-rank military, and of course he was never home, being a pilot. And I was feeling things in the home that my family didn't understand. They kind of thought that maybe I had a mental health disorder. And my mother was sending me to all these different therapists, and they all kept telling her that I was considered an indigo child, or I was a medium. And they had all these terms back in those days. I mean, they still do. And I was seeing a child in my home who kept coming to me in my room at night telling me that there was someone staring at me out the window. And I was 9 years old at the time, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, am I seeing this? Is this real life? Like, do I have an imaginary friend, or is this really an entity? Is this really a spirit?
Mhm.
And she kept coming in, and one night she did come into my room and say, he is staring at you out the window. And I finally had the courage to look, and he was.
Hmm.
And I still feel to this day that was the person that was targeting me in the first place. And I ran and I told my mother about it. And I slowly started to get more and more clues, like by using my spiritual intuition, that this person definitely was following me and watching me. And one afternoon, I was on my way to the bus stop and I was approached by a man in a vehicle. And he kept coming around every day and like asking me inappropriate questions about, what school do I go to, what my name is. And I knew better. I mean, luckily as a child, my parents did raise me to know what's appropriate social wise and what's not with
Mhm.
strangers. And don't talk to strangers.
Yeah,
And he
I heard it
kept
too.
telling me that he knew my father and that my father would want him to pick me up and take me to school. And something kept telling me, he doesn't know your father. He's lying and he's bad. And he kept coming around and coming around and coming around to the point where I told my principal about it. I told my teacher about it. I told my mom about it. I told my babysitters about it. And finally, I heard a phone call from my mom that they were definitely looking into this person. And then next, I have police coming to my school to talk to me.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was in a private school at the time.
Now, are they looking
And
for him because of what you're saying, or are there other people saying?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it was so long ago, but my mother and father didn't want to talk about it for a really long time. It was like a hush hush topic in my home, especially the way that he was captured and how I was literally minutes from being snatched by him. But I had to see him being taken out by, authority figures.
Did
And
you
I
know
was
that
told,
was part of the plan? Like, were you part of this plan, or were they just watching over you as guardians to see if he came around? Like, how did it work? How did it go down?
I don't, I think, you hear my dog. Sorry about that. I,
That's
I
okay.
think it was more that my mother told the authorities, my principals told the authorities, and my teachers told the authorities. And then he kept coming around and kept telling me, it's okay. You can get in the car with me. We'll go get ice cream. I mean, he was playing off me being a child and what my interests were. He's telling me, oh, I see that you like da 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 on my book bag. I can get you one of those. Like trying to buy me toys, trying to say that this was a good option to get in his car, that I don't have to wait for the bus. Now, I was the only child waiting for that bus because in the school system that I was in the sectors, to pick up all the children for the private school, they went to all the different bureaus in the neighborhoods. So I was the only child in my neighborhood going to that particular school waiting for that bus. I had no adult supervision. I had nobody watching me,
Yep.
and he knew it. And I think that that's what he also took advantage of. And of course, I told, my babysitter about it. And I think she was the one who took it more serious than anybody else.
Hmm. Oh, thank
Um,
goodness.
yeah, I think it was because I can't remember that, but I think it was because she had something similar happen to her as a child too. And one afternoon, I was getting off the bus, and I remember it was like months after that phone call because he didn't come around for a while after I heard my mom on the phone with the authorities, and it was definitely the police she was speaking to. And like I said, they came to my school and talked to me and my mom and my principal. And I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months after that, then he came around again. But this time he came around when I was getting home, not when I was getting to school. And when I got off the bus, by the time I got around the side of the corner where the bus let me off and to cross the street, I was nabbed by police quick. They're
Wow.
like, Olivia, get in the car. I still
Mhm.
remember what they look like to this day. it was such a flash. It was like, whoa, I was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, and then all these SUVs and all these police cars are coming around. And the next thing you know, they're like, please get down. We don't want you to see this. And they drove out of that section, and they basically jumped back on the interstate. And so we didn't want you to have to see that. But I did see it.
You
Of
saw
course,
enough of it, yeah, and at a young age, it left an impact.
I did have to see it. I have to say, they told me to not look, but as a child, when they tell you not to do something,
Yeah.
it was just, I kind of had to see what they were trying to get me out of the way of, because I knew I saw his car coming around the corner. It kind of scared me when I was crossing the street. I said, oh, there he is. But they're watching him.
that happened. And yeah.
Well, it took my parents 20 years to tell me what was in his car. And that's the sad part. And that's the horrific part that I have to admit to myself and to the world. Now I have to have this conscious awareness to know what the purpose of him coming after me was. He was watching my sister too.
I mean, do you want to share what was in the car, or would you?
Yeah, I take my time leading up to this, because it takes a lot for me to say, especially.
And you don't have to. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah,
I'm just gonna do some things.
I told Kathy's podcast, so I'll tell yours, but it's hard because my own mother had a problem telling me, and I understood that part. But he had a beta camcorder camera in his car, and he had sex paraphernalia.
Yeah,
it was definitely a child pornography situation.
Right.
And that's what bothers me.
Absolutely. And wow, it's, and since this whole awakening is coming about, I think we're all really learning how prevalent it is. It's far worse than we ever imagined. We knew it was bad enough, but like now it's on, every corner, it's just, so you're brave to share this, because I know talking about things from childhood that left such an impact can be very difficult. Even though it didn't end up happening, I
got lucky it didn't happen. And right. I feel like me trusting that inner voice, my spirit guides, my angels, at that time I didn't really know anybody that passed over. My grandparents were still alive, thank goodness. But
and that child spirit that came to you.
Yeah. Pure spirit came to me, because as soon as I was about to cross the street, something basically just was screaming at me, look. And then I looked, and there were the cops.
Now, and didn't the child come to you in your room and say someone's looking at you? Or I find that very fascinating, like one of your little angels or something.
I will get back to her, because there's a big significance about her, and why I knew at a young age that I was able to communicate with spirit and see spirit. I'll be honest, I don't really see spirit as much as I did as a child.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of studies on that. And as children, we are just so heightened. We're able to just feel everything. And I think now as an adult, I'm kind of glad that I don't see them as much as I did as a child, because I have enough going on to stress me out as it is as an adult.
No, I totally get that. I'm the same. I don't like to see them everywhere.
I don't want to I see them as orbs now, but as a child, I saw them as orbs, and I saw them as physical human, entities. Like, she looked like a child that was a human child. She was like, she was standing right at the edge of my bed. I thought I was dreaming, to be honest, for a while with it. And then one night she came into my room, and she started laughing. And she asked me to follow her, and she ran down the hall, and I followed her all the way down to the end of the hall. And it had to be like 2 or 3 in the morning. My parents were asleep. My sisters were asleep. And when I got to the end of the hallway, I saw all these lights of orbs floating and dancing across the living room ceiling. And then I got to the bottom of the stairs, and I basically chased her into the kitchen. Now, this is where it gets pretty graphic. So I have to just disclaimer, it's pretty gruesome what I had to see.
Okay, and that's good, because some of my listeners do listen with their kids, and I'm all about teaching the kids, but you do it, you feel right, Mom and Dad.
I'll just brief synopsis. It was definitely like a scene in a Stephen King film. I'll just
Mm,
leave it at that. Definitely the scene in the movie The Shining,
yeah, okay.
the elevators.
Yeah.
It was very similar to that. So just go in your mind if you've seen The Shining, just for your listeners, for disclaimer issues, and just I don't want to overwhelm people's emotions. It was the scariest, craziest thing that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And I saw 30 seconds of it, and the whole kitchen was covered. And she came back into my room the next day and said, "Bad things happened here."
Mm, mhm.
And I said, "What happened?" And she basically told me that she was taken by her father, and her father took himself and her mom.
Wow. I
And we don't realize these things do happen to people. And
absolutely.
to,
And I've had
and to
similar
this day,
experiences, so
yeah.
I'm happy that you're sharing this. So that number one, people will believe their children when they tell them things, because that really yeah.
Children see spirit. And I know I did. And I do believe our dogs and cats see spirit, especially cats. I've done my research on that. And I've had several
Absolutely.
cats growing up, and I always know when spirit's around, and the cats really let me know when spirit's around.
Hmm. Now, do they let you know? Do they change if it's something maybe not a pleasant one? My dogs, I have one dog. She will let me know if there's something crappy around here.
Oh, for sure.
And so I'll, tune in and clear and all that. But she'll let me know. It's not she comes to me. She'll just do like maybe go behind the couch, which she never does. I'm like, okay, well, let's just tune in and see what's going on around here, because nothing
Mhm.
else has changed. So yeah, our animals can really alert us to, and the most beautiful things too. So listen to your animals and your children. That's part of the lesson today.
Most definitely listen to your animals and your children.
So,
Um,
okay, so you saw this horrific scene, and she was showing you what happened to her. Is that when she kind of exited the scene? Then did she?
we moved out after that.
Okay.
It was kind of like I kept telling my parents these things, and the more I would tell them, the more my mom was already remarried at that time, and I was living with my stepfather and my mom. And my stepfather did social work for the police, so he actually had me tested with my abilities, and
Yeah.
he was pretty shocked that I wasn't telling tales, I wasn't lying,
Mhm.
because he was all into that kind of thing. My mom was always very like, this is goes against my Christian beliefs, this is against the Bible, this is against God. And I just it still hurts me to this day that my mother still makes me feel inferior about it. But I already
Just
explained who my
not an understanding of it, and if you haven't experienced it, you're just going to go by what you were taught. It's
yeah.
we go by what we were taught unless we've experienced something different. Because my listeners know my dad's a retired minister, and we never
Mhm.
talked about any of this stuff ever. And I didn't wake up to my abilities till later. Who knows if I had them or if I just suppressed them? Who knows? Um, but yeah, it's I found sometimes when when a soul comes to me or shows me something, and if it's something, sometimes they just have to deliver a message and then they are gone. Like then they're just ascended somewhere, they've gone wherever, if it's heaven, you think, or whatever that is. But sometimes it's to deliver a message. Sometimes they have to that. Like I've had spirits come where they have to show me what happened so I can, even if I can't do anything about it because it happened so long ago or whatever, it's like they just had to tell somebody.
Mhm.
And so I just wanted to point that out, that they have messages sometimes. They're not always coming to scare us or freak us out. There are those that will do that. that is their intention. But again, good and evil. I mean, it's on every level, every essence. So
Mhm.
okay. Because I
Oh,
know.
she did come. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention, she did come to me one more time before we moved out of the house. I think she knew that we were leaving. Um, my stepfather got a better position, and we moved into a bigger house in a different neighborhood. And I never forgot the house. Trust me. I actually went back recently to visit the house, and it looks completely different. And here's an interesting kicker. They changed the address to the house. They changed the number Numerology is everything with, yes, yes,
That's
yes.
wild.
I didn't ring the doorbell to see who was living in the house because it looked like nobody was home. So I didn't want to disturb them. And there was a guy across the street cutting the grass, and I asked him about the house. He said it's an elderly couple that lives there, and they're super sweet, but they're not home. And I was like, I didn't want to bother them. So I will eventually go back. I go back to Virginia Beach periodically, and I will eventually maybe go see, if they let me kind of come around the house again and see if I feel anything. But I went in the back of the house. I walked all the way around the house, and I didn't feel anything. But the little girl came to me before we moved out, and she said that she just wanted to basically protect me and my family. Because bad things, and she said it again, it kind of creeped me out. She said bad things continuously happen here. Yeah, we call that our house of poltergeists. I just never forgot. And my older sister was getting asthma symptoms in that house. And then as soon as we moved out, she miraculously recovered from asthma.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's energy in a home can affect your health.
Oh my,
completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. You use your abilities now. I think when I was watching the interview, and it's been I don't know, a week or two ago, I think that I saw it, but you use your abilities now with children. Is that part of that I heard?
Well, it's not that I give readings to the children.
Right. It's for the children.
Yeah, I'm giving readings to the parents, and I'm describing predators. And I have identified predators in their children's lives. And unfortunately, a lot of these predators are their spouses, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their babysitters, their teachers, their kids' coaches, their kids' friends, neighbors, daddy, mama. It's very connected that a lot of these predators are people that the mom and dad know.
Yep.
And I have had cases, unfortunately, where Spirit has told me that the parent has sold the child to sex trafficking rings. And that's why the child is abducted for authorities. So I'm doing the flip side.
So you are working with authorities.
I have worked with authorities, yes. I can't disclose which authorities, but because I'm under some serious gag rules. But I have worked with authorities.
I mean, that's like my dream job, but I've always been like, who would believe me and who would work with me? But I guess when you help them solve one case, they're going to be like, okay, well.
Yeah, they can be their energy can be fierce because they don't like me to beat around the bush. They're like, get it out, let's go.
That's awesome.
But I have worked with authorities before, recently, and I have worked with Western Australia authorities.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. See, you're boots on the ground. You're boots on the ground of guardian angel here, finding these petals and getting
Sorry,
them.
My allergies are going bananas, but yes.
Yeah, she's got allergies. And she's glowing. Look at her, just glowing.
Thank you.
That's why I wanted to have you on for your story, just what you're doing, and that it's such amazing work. And the importance that I think so many people in this awakening, there's still a lot that have to go through it. We're kind of like one of the phases. I'm not going to say we're the first or second. There's no ego. It's just we've learned a lot, but it lights a fire in you. I see a lot of people just kind of backing off and then going back to their whatever normal life. But I couldn't have
my dog's now. I don't mean to interrupt the podcast. I'll be quick. My dog's now kind of losing it because my husband just left. Oh, yeah. So let me freight her and put her in the other room. So
take your time. Okay. So guys, I knew you'd enjoy this conversation because, or at least you maybe just needed to hear it for some hope that, these evil ones are being taken down in many levels from different individuals, including those of us that, have abilities or have open to our abilities, because I truly believe we all have these abilities. While she's taking care of her dog, I'll remind you, I'll just do a brief synopsis of the other podcast I was alluding to. Michael, my boyfriend, who I live with, we've been together for 15 years, and And if you'll recall, if you listen to that one, we went to a water park, it's at Camel Beach. I'm just going to name it. It's here in the Poconos. Guys, the pedals go where the kids are. Okay, just remember that. Wherever the children are, that's where the pedals go. It doesn't mean everybody around them to pedal, but they're going to go where the children are. And we've been on all the water rides. He has 3 daughters, and went on all the rides, and they were getting ready to take the lazy river ride. And for whatever reason, I just didn't want to. I said, I'm just going to sit this one out. Just for no reason, I sat it out. I stood there while they got it. They stood in line waiting to get on the ride. So I'm facing them. His 3 daughters are leaning against these ropes, and he's standing across from them talking. And I just see this guy, right? We're guided to things, even to just look at things or to know things, sense things. And this guy walks right behind them, and he turns, and I'm going to tell you this so that you know what to watch for. He pulls a camera out of his pocket, but he held it down by his crotch area and started snapping pictures. He wasn't up here. Okay. He was very discreet. And he took a picture of their backsides. And I'm like, what in the hell is that? What in the heck? And I was flabbergasted. It took me a couple seconds to realize what was happening. And then I saw him turn, and he took a picture of 5 little girls walking away holding hands, but just had it down again right in front of his stomach or his crotch area is clicking. I start screaming security as loud as I can. I'm screaming security. Like, I just went ballistic. The kid at the water, then everyone's staring at me. Mike and his daughters they don't have a clue what's going on. Julia's losing it. And I'm screaming security. The kid at the lazy river is like, ma'am, what's going on? I said, that man is taking pictures of children. I think I said children's butts. I don't even know what I said. I said, he's taking pictures of children. So this man starts taking off. He knows he's been seen. And so this kid gets on his walkie-talkie, and he's calling. Okay, I'm calling him. I take off after the guy. So I'm going after the guy because there's no way he's going to get away from me. And he starts walking faster. Then he starts running, and I am like running. And he's had a yellow, it's like these things you don't forget, the color of a shirt even, a yellow tank top, and he's taking it off because very noticeable. And they put on a white t-shirt as he's running. So here comes these 2 security guards. They're running from the side over to me. And they're like, ma'am, what's going on? I said, that man right there, he's taking pictures of children. Get that camera. I don't want those pictures on the internet. I didn't even know this shit was going on, like as rampant as it is. And I'm screaming, get the camera. So they went after him. I stopped and tried to breathe again. The adrenaline's pumping. I really do believe I would have actually jumped on him if I had to. That's just me. That's my personality. I would have stopped him in any way possible. But the policeman found me later that day. They found me, and Michael and I were sitting there having a beverage, and they said, we did catch him. He tried to exit go out the entrance. I guess they always have a state cop there, and the state policeman caught him. Now, I didn't know what happened after that. I said, please get those pictures, just get the camera. We were telling people, we went out a few nights later at a bar where our friends were at. I was telling the story, and they're like, oh my God, Julie, that was on the news. We saw that on the news. And he was the biggest child porn operator in the Poconos, and he's going down. I'm like, again, guided. I was just guided to not go on a ride. That was all, right? It's just these little things that happen, and it turns into, I was there to take this guy down. I was telling my parents about it, and I said, I would have tackled him if I had to. And they're both like, we know. That's our daughter. You would have. So I just wanted to share that story with them while you were creating your dog. It just ended up being a little longer than usual.
It's okay. I wanted to hear it. So I'm glad that you were there and you trusted your knowing and you're connected to source, and you were meant to give that message and to help those children.
And the more we talk about this, like even that it will be a slide, it'll just be a camera in front of this. It's not going to be always like that. It might be, because if it's at like a touristy thing, they might just do that because it'll blend in. But that's when I realized they are so sneaky, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as parents, our parents said, don't talk to strangers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We heard that. They didn't really go into detail what might happen, or that we may never see you again, or what to do, if that really happens, because we really have to start teaching the children. I think every child should be in like self-defense or karate or
Yeah,
something that they can actually
my
fight
kids
back.
are Taekwondo. They love it.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So yeah, so you took what happened to you, you helped put someone away, and now you're helping more children, you know, by catching more of these demons that are doing really bad things. And I think one of the hardest things for me to do in this whole awakening was learn about the children. That was the most difficult. I mean, once you learn that, and as unbelievable as some people feel it is, it's, you have to do something. Like once then you realize this has always been about the children.
It's
This
always about the children, and this whole war has been about the children.
It is all for the children. Yes,
It's all about the
save
children.
the children, because that's what they want. They want the children.
Yeah.
So you're a warrior, and I'm so honored to even like meet you and get to know you. And now, I don't know. I mean, put the feelers out there if someone ever wants to, you know, work with me to see if we can make it happen. I'm happy to do it. I actually saw. I was asking one day. I'm like, what else can I do? I know the importance of asking questions. What can I do next? Or what is something else I can do to bring more of these down? Stop this. Yes, digital warrior, fine. I'm up here, I'm talking, I'm doing all this. But then I got, Julie, just go to the parks. Just go. And you will be shown. You know, I'll guide you. Whoever, you will see. So that's where I'm at now, where I'm starting to go to, you know, the children's events, the parks, the water parks, all the things. And I love to watch the children having fun. It's so fun to be in that energy. But I'm also very awake and aware of anything that I need to see and taking them down that way. Like there's so many ways we can use our gifts. Right. So back to you, Olivia.
Well, I'm honored to meet you too. I think it's amazing the gift that you have, and now you're helping the children, and we're all finding each other. You notice, because they're censoring us. It's been very hard to finally get the courage to have the voice, and now they're trying to duct tape my voice. They're trying to censor my voice. They're trying to hinder our voices, and it's just really profoundly sad, because a lot of these social media apps, they're protecting their customers, and that's exactly what Spirit has told me.
So I was banned from Facebook, but they left my page up. I can't even get on my own page, which is
I've been there, yeah.
And
that's sad.
And I think also we're waiting, we're getting stuff done, but we know there's so many more that are going to be waking up and need to. And guys, we know it isn't easy, and you got to dive down those rabbit holes. There's things I wish I could unsee, but I know I have to see it for a reason, because it just made it so much more important why I'm here and why we're doing this. And I truly believe that we came here to stop this. I mean, that is why we are here. And it won't stop if we put our head in the sand, or we pretend that it's not happening, or it's too much to see or know, or we think someone's going to save the world. We don't have to do anything. Guys, we're in it together, and the kids need us. And I said this a while back. I said, I want to be able to stare at every one of those children and say, I did everything I could. I did everything I could to help you, to wake them up, to help people see, to help people know. Did everything I could. I have to be able to say that. So bravo for, you know, the censoring has been massive, but I kind of see it shifting a little bit now. I see that people talking about certain things aren't being taken down, or you know, shut up so easily. So we'll see what's happening. I think the tide has turned. I do feel
we definitely had such a great impact with like having motion pictures made about this. I mean, Sound of Freedom was definitely a big wake-up call for a lot of people that were kind of still with one eye open, still a little asleep to what is happening. I did see the movie, and I'm like, from doing my research and helping authorities, that's just half of it. I mean, they're not telling really everything, because honestly, I mean, this is a really horrific, traumatizing thing to have to know that 465,000 children go missing in our country alone a year. Do you know what that is globally?
Yeah, globally? And I think that's why they came out with that movie first.
It's nuts. And
Yeah.
and everybody comes to me, and when I create awareness on social media, I mean, they can be kind of cruel sometimes, and they say, this sounds like a conspiracy theory, or this sounds like this is a new one. They say since the pandemic, this is a QAnon. I don't even know what that is. All I say is I'm a voice of truth. I'm a light worker, I'm a healer, I'm a spiritual advisor, and I know this almost happened to me. So if I'm getting downloads from spirit that this is happening to children all over the world, and I'm having to see it, and I'm having to go down these rabbit holes, I'm obviously I'm doing something here. I'm honestly helping a lot of children. So why are you judging this? Like, it doesn't happen. And I think those people, I said this on Kathy's podcast, the people that want to call us conspiracy theorists and want to basically mute our voices are more detrimental than the actual predators that take the children. The people that don't want to believe that this is happening to children all over the world and adults. I mean,
They're all in it
adult women
together,
and
knowing it or
men.
not. Yeah, knowingly or
Right,
not, they're in it, they're helping the evil.
right. Adult women and men are trafficked. I did a reading recently with a 27-year-old woman that was recently trafficked in Florida.
Mhm.
And she's getting a lot of work done to her, and God bless her, because she's got a lot of trauma in her body. She can't breathe.
Mhm.
She can barely eat. She keeps saying she's lucky to be alive. And I understand that
Yeah.
completely. I'm very blessed and lucky to be here. I mean, I don't know to this day really everything in the contents of that man's car. I think my parents definitely held a lot back
Mhm.
because they wanted to protect me, but at the same time, it's like I still have this conscious and awareness, and I still know that I basically really dodged a big one there, just because I had the abilities and I was trusting in my abilities as a child.
Mhm.
You
You know,
know,
I've been shown, because I've asked, every one of them is going down. Everyone that ever, bought a snuff film, anybody that was part of anything. And the system that everyone gets so upset about, oh, we're being tracked. Guys, it's tracked everything they've done. Okay, everything is tracked. They have everything on every single person that has ever done anything. Okay, and so they're all being dealt with. And I'm not, what is the name? I can't remember the Telegram group, to be honest, but all they post are pedos and rapists being arrested in their mugshots and their story. And it is so many. You just, because
yeah.
if you watch mainstream media, you think nothing's going on. There are so many being taken down. It is mind blowing. And so there's so much happening, but we're all here to do our part and keep doing yours, because we need you. We all need to stay in this spiritual battle, because this is, the liberation of Earth. Like, this is for all of humanity. It's all of us. So
It's
no,
the evil in all things. It's
yeah.
the evil in our school systems. It's the evil in our churches. It's the evil in our medical. And it's coming for medical soon. Like, we don't even have to go there. They'll censor us. But
No, yeah, they will censor
they're
that.
going to try to test our boundaries again. And we're standing tall as a collective, and we're not going for it.
No.
We're not going to allow their totalitarianism to drain us any further, especially in our neck of the woods.
No,
Are
and
you in Canada? Are you in Canada?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought you were
I'm in
Canada now.
Northeast Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in Chicago. I'm not too far. Yeah. I mean, I have people that come to my podcast and my blogs from all over the world, and they say that they're seeing this all over. Like, this is not something that they've kept from us, but when we talk about it,
Yes.
It's just not everything that we see in the news is reality either.
Almost
So,
none of it. Probably.
yeah, a lot of false narratives more than ever. And I think that I have to continue to keep going, and I can't let anybody hold me back. And I even recently had to really separate myself from my family because of this.
It's tough.
And I told Kathy that my own mother basically enabled somebody who essayed me later in life, and just acted like it didn't happen and that I was lying about it.
Well, this is part of our test, I believe, is, are you going to finally love yourself enough feel powerful enough that you can separate from those who just don't need to be in your circle any longer,
Yeah.
and I would like you to share where everybody can find you, because I know you have different
Oh, okay.
locations. So let's tell everybody where they can find you on.
Well, I'm an easy Google. I'm Oracle Pink Medium and Tarot on Facebook, Instagram. I'm Oracle Pink Intuitive Coach on TikTok. My kids wanted me to get on the TikTok. Oracle Pink Medium and Tarot. I've been on Facebook for a long time. And I'm just an easy Google, Oracle Pink, Medium and Tarot. What was I going to say? I'm getting ready to create some new websites, and I do a lot of my readings FaceTime, Zoom, or over the phone. You don't have to be in the room with me to experience a reading with me. I mainly channel spirit, past loved ones, spirit guides, and it's all in love and light. I know some people call me and say, do I need to protect my energy doing this? No, I like you said earlier, the misconception with the duality of darkness to light, it's all in the energy of the person that's giving the reading. I've been able to describe people, name names. I channeled so intensely one afternoon for the authority figures that I started scribbling numbers down over and over. And I've never been led to do that by spirit. I just kept writing numbers over and over and over. And then I submitted them. They were 3 make and models of vehicles that abducted the same child. Basically, the same child they were looking for were connected to these 3 vehicles.
Wow, I love
That's
it.
what freaked me. That's when I knew it was time to like really like help the authorities. Like I thought, maybe I was losing my mind. I thought, maybe I'm seeing things like maybe I'm just hallucinating for a long time. And that's why I cut my gifts off between the ages of 25 and 35. For 10 years, I cut it off just after working with authorities because I thought I was going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I channeled so intense that my nose started bleeding and I'm like writing numbers down over and over. I was like, why am I led to write numbers over and over? And the authority figures, they just said, you'll be surprised what we can decode with numerology. And then they come back with these were license plates of predators.
Amazing.
I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here that I didn't realize that I could do to help humanity and help the children of the world.
Absolutely.
And then go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's wonderful. And I understand that whole taking a break when you're not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened for me on my awakening 34 years ago, because I started learning so much that I didn't realize. So then I started going, well, if I can do this, like, why didn't I know that? Why didn't I realize that was going on? But that is all part of the whole, I don't know, the spell of amnesia. I don't know, it's a spell, I think, but who knows what it is. So yeah, I get it. It's fascinating work. It's so rewarding, especially like doing what you're doing and helping them save the children. I'm gonna have to go to a water park now this weekend. It's like I've got to just go to the water parks because I actually was told to do that. So maybe that's just one way I can help. I can just go and alert anyone there to someone acting suspicious. So everyone, you know how to reach out to Olivia now. She is a gem. I know you really felt her energy and her spirit and her love. And I'm just so, we're meeting each other, we're finding each other. And I have to tell you this too, one more last thing, unless you have more to tell us. I have all day, whatever you want to do. I've been calling out, like saying, like, I'm ready to meet the other warriors. I need the other warriors. I don't want this, but I want the warriors. That's my tribe, and I need the warriors to come around. I need more of them around me because it helps. I think it helps us. Like, it fuels us if we have others doing the work too. Instead of the one sitting back and saying, someone please do something, and I'm gonna go, watch movies and eat ice cream. Yeah, we need everyone to stand up. That's what I love about Kathy. She's like, everyone get up.
We're finding our spiritual armies.
Yes. Yeah. And there are different groups doing different things, and we're all a part of this beautiful ascension process, this great awakening. And we are so lucky to be here to witness it all. Like, I feel, we're all the chosen ones. Every single one of us, we're all the chosen ones. There's not one group that's the chosen ones. We're all chosen to be here at this time. So thank you for being here with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
And yeah, I hope to have you on again. If you ever want to come on and talk about, I know you can't give details, but if you want to share anything else, anything new that happens that you come across, experience, then please reach out.
Yeah, I'm working on a few things. Memoirs of a Medium. We're going to talk about basically like my near, horrific situation with the child trafficker that tried to abduct me in the 80s. And then I'm going to go into how I knew I was channeling spirit and not hallucinating, or my parents thinking I had schizophrenia, which they thought I did. And how I knew that this was my calling once I started helping the children. I didn't start helping the children like with an intent to start helping the children. It kind of happened by accident.
Yeah.
I started helping the children when I was in New Orleans, when I was dating a detective in New Orleans.
Oh,
can't say his name, but
that'd be a good story.
yeah, so that's Memoirs of the Medium. And then once I recently got married, and we moved into a new house here in Chicago. Thank God I'm not there anymore. I have 3 beautiful small stepchildren. I didn't have any children biologically. Unfortunately, I miscarried 3 children. See how that works? Now I have 3 beautiful stepchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told by spirit many times that I'm supposed to be the mother of the world. So I'm not to have any biological children because I have to be focused and busy helping other people's children. So that's another.
I got the same message. I don't have
yes, I was going to tell you I felt that too.
I always say like it's not an angel or something.
Right. We can't have our own children physically because we have to be there so intensely, emotionally, physically, and spiritually for everybody else's kids.
Yep.
And we kind of have to be the mommy watchdog, the mama bears for everybody else's children that aren't aware, that aren't paying attention, that just don't think that this happens, And I moved into this house and I moved above a very demonic souled, I don't know if she has a soul, but I moved above a very demonic energy person. It's pure psychopath. So I'm going to be working on that podcast next about how I was basically slaying demons in my dreams living above this woman.
Been there. And we have so much in common.
Yes. And I woke up in the middle of the night screaming because basically I pulled myself out of a dream where this woman that lived below me was keeping me captive in her home. She's keeping me held hostage. And the closer and closer she got to my face, her face shape shifted into a demonic entity. And I thought I was losing my mind in this dream. I'm like, am I really dreaming this? And I pulled myself out and I saw myself literally like fly off the bed. I'm not kidding you. And as I was on the floor crying my eyes out, I heard the demon speak to me in the room. And this was recently. So it's like, okay, we're not in a spiritual war because I'm helping children, I'm helping humanity, and I'm waking up people. This demon was definitely after me and my kids because my stepdaughter kept screaming in a room. And finally, it woke my husband up, and then I didn't feel it in the room anymore. Once once he went to attend to her and turn the lights on. And I said, yeah, we got to get out of this house. I just feel like I kept attracting dark energy people in the last 10 years for a reason. And they're trying to throw me off my course. They're trying to get me off my spiritual mission and path. And this woman
never wanted you to wake up to what you were here to do.
Right.
And fear is the only way, is the way that they have suppressed so many people. And so that's what they continue to try to do.
Well, the scary part about it was the next morning when I was getting into the shower, I noticed once I unclothed and got into the shower that my whole chest was covered in scratch marks. Jeez. So I literally pulled myself out of that. And it's like, that's another podcast I'm doing. And I can't name the name of that one because I haven't copyrighted yet, but I definitely feel like I've got a lot of stories to tell about my spiritual mission and how I came to do the things that I do. and why I'm here doing this to help humanity, help kids. I mean, I've had a lot of dreams where I'm underground with the military. I don't even know how
Yeah.
many dreams I've had like that. And I'm like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And they're like, turn around. And in the dream, I turn around and there's thousands of children crying my name.
Mhm.
And it's always when I think, oh, I can't do this. I can't go down another rabbit hole. Don't make me go. Or I can't take another reading where she trusted somebody to be around her son, that kind of thing. And I have to see when I channel what they've done to their children.
Mhm.
That's what hinders me. That's what breaks me every single time.
Mhm.
And something keeps saying you can't stop. No matter what your mom thinks, no matter what your family thinks, no matter what society thinks, no matter how many demons are you're gonna have to slay in your dreams, you have to keep going.
Yep, you do. Yep, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that they're scared of me now. Like they're scared of me. So yeah. I work
We're a
close with
force to be
Archangel
reckoned with.
Michael. I am. I am. Now it's funny because they'll try to get to other people, right? To loved ones, to get to me, to attack them or to send a message through them. That was part of my whole awakening of this whole evil that was here, was just starting to see people's eyes turn black and giving me messages.
Oh, you've seen the
And they give me
psychopaths
messages.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like a possession. They just have used them to talk to me, and their
Mhm.
eyes turn black and their voice
Yep.
is different. And the first time
Mhm.
it happened, I was just frozen because I think your soul recognizes, like, oh shit, just this. And so anyway, that was what started me in this whole, finally the third or fourth, and it was someone I was really close to, eyes turned black and different voice, and just went like, pointed at me and went like this. And I was like,
Mm.
what the fuck is going on here?
No,
I say this on my podcast. Everybody knows that.
I
So
like it that you're open and just very direct in your podcast. You don't filter it. You just say it like it is. And
yeah, if you don't like it.
I totally agree with you. Like, I saw the eye shape shifts. I saw the face shape shift. The woman I'm speaking about that I lived above, I actually have videos. I have photos of it if you want to see it. I saw her face shape shift on our doorbell camera and on our security cameras on our back porches.
Dang. I mean, it's up to you, but if you send me those pictures,
They're on
this,
my social media pages. I'll send them to you.
I'll put them in this video at the time we're talking
Yeah.
about it.
And
Yeah.
she's a lawyer, and I can't say her name, and I can't say, but she's about to face the biggest karma payback. She's about to lose her home, and she's about to lose her license. She's hurt a lot of people, being a fraudulent attorney and doing a lot of corrupt, nefarious things, and illegal things. And that's why she didn't want us living above her. And that's why she didn't want my landlord living above her when he lived there with his wife and newborn. And the scariest part about it that made us really get out of there and run with our head between our legs is that she tried to unalive my 3 stepkids.
Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this too, because, and this is probably a whole nother show. We can do another one.
Yeah.
Not, but they do cast spells. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what this is all about, actually. The spell casting and the brainwashing and the mind controlling, and so we have to talk about it because that wakes us up to what has been happening. It helps give us the power and the armor. I would say the armor of God. I say God, you say source, whatever that is that you call that being. That's even not even the right word, but I have the armor on, and I know, nothing can happen to me. I've already seen myself at like 80 years old with all these little kids around me hugging me.
Oh.
I've seen it. I'm actually manifesting retreats for children. And that's what I'm here to do, is create these retreats for kids to come to and their families, And so I've seen that ending. I've seen that time, and it's this timeline. So yeah, fascinating. I could just talk to you forever because it does fascinate me. And I want to talk to anyone who this freaks out or scares. Okay. Archangel Michael was very instrumental for me. I mean, helped me so much to learn to stand in my own power. You know, I still call on him for things.
Mm.
You know, if I wake up and things are a little freaky and my bedroom feels weird, and it just happened the other night, I'm like, all right, just get this shit out of here. I don't have time for this. Let's sleep, you know, and I can sense he's there and he's cleaning house. But this is about us becoming awake and aware. So we have to have certain experiences so that we know what's happening.
Yes.
So thank you for being this warrior angel.
Well, I'm trying, like many others, thousands of others out there. And if they're listening or they're
we're doing it
watching,
through the backlash. I mean, I'm sure you got it too. I've been called so many things. I've been attacked, and I'm like, if that's all you, honey, I hope you wake up, because your words.
what I never am going to understand is, why are they getting angry about us wanting to protect the welfare of children and their virtue?
Yeah.
What's more sacred than a child's virtue? I mean, like I was saying, it was really hard to know that she wanted to shut the garage door on my children while they were waiting in the car with the engine running. I thought, if somebody's going to hate a child that much, well, 3 children at that,
Yep.
it doesn't take much for carbon monoxide poisoning to unalive. I always say unalive when we're on internet and stuff, because they never like the word kill or death or murder. But to unalive somebody with carbon monoxide poisoning, and the fact that my children were intelligent enough to know to get the hell out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if somebody's going to have that much evil and hatred towards little kids,
right,
little children,
mm-hmm.
something definitely is mentally wrong with that person. And I think that that's what we're calling out more than anything, is the mental health awareness in other people, and who we can trust and who we can't trust.
Yep.
And allowing our children to like really learn conscious awareness and to be able to trust their own gifts, because it, you know, my generation, your generation, very similar, you know, that, you know, this was not talked about.
Mm-hmm.
As kids, we didn't learn. I mean, we learned about bad touching, good touching, don't talk to strangers, but to trust that little inner voice that we have, that knowing, that conscious knowing, to use discernment to know, I can't get in that guy's car just because he's promised me a puppy, a toy, a candy bar.
Right.
I mean, we really have to teach our children that it's been happening since the dawn of time, but it's finally coming to an end. And I hope for once for good. I have heard some breakthroughs, you know, as you brought up with the technology coming and them using quantum.
Here. They already have everything on
They
everything.
have everything now.
That's why the thing that we bitch about, or people say I don't want to be tracked. I'm like, it's a good thing, because they have everything. Mm-hmm. And this whole awakening thing is kind of drip feeding. And I understand it now. Once you really understand that this was done, I believe, done for the least amount of loss of life. And that's even can count people losing their minds. I mean, because yeah, I just kind of babbling right now. So
no, it's fine.
But what I was going
to say, if there's anything else you want to ask me, I didn't want to keep you up, and I have to
how
prepare.
Far out are you? Like, what do people have to look forward to? Like, how far booked out are you?
Most people book me out at least a week, 2 weeks in advance. Only usually in the fall into winter, because I do a lot of public spiritual events and expos in the fall and winter.
Okay.
And I still work with paranormal activity groups where we go in and cleanse homes, cleanse spaces from demonic energy. I'm still on the fence that if I want to really dabble harder into that work, I can't say it doesn't frighten me. I do it
remotely. I don't know if you've tried that. I mean, I do it remotely for people's homes, and
yeah.
I mean, I assume you do remote viewing because you can see things that happen.
I do remote viewing, and then sometimes people ask me here in Chicago. We have a lot of stuff here in Chicago, and Indiana to do it, and I've been doing it more. So I feel like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable doing it, but I just don't know if it's really my calling as much as giving messages from spirit guides and past loved ones and helping people wake up, basically, and helping the children. Because those are my big ones. Those are my big ones.
I did that work. I did a lot of clearings in the past, and that's something I felt guided to kind of move out of. only to
Yeah.
do it remotely. I didn't have to be there physically anymore. I mean, I've had my hand grabbed and turned upside down when I'm burning Palo Santo, and I'm like, Dad, no, that's not allowed. Not gonna, and that had to happen so that I could know that it could happen. So,
Yeah.
but I'm actually going to book a reading with you, I think, because
Oh, nice.
I
Okay.
am. And I don't know, maybe even we'll record it and I'll post it. I don't know. But I have wanted a reading for a very long time, and my mentor, who I love dearly, is not awake to any of this yet. And I kind of made this vow that I would not have a reading from anyone that was not awake anymore, that they had to know everything. You had to know everything going on.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna
totally.
actually look you up, get on your calendar, hopefully, and then we'll either record it and I'll share it, because my podcast, I'm an open book and everybody knows that. But I have been thinking about that lately and asking for the warriors, and I got 2 in 1 right here.
Nice.
The warrior who will be giving me a reading.
Well, it would be my pleasure.
Yes.
And
I
yeah,
look
I'm
forward
not hard to book too much. It's just sometimes people, they'll email me or text me, 24 to 48 hours, and I always make the time. Technically I do readings from 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time to 10 p.m. I can do readings that late. I mean, I do take breaks throughout the day. I'm also a medical esthetician here in Chicago, and I just got my permit to open up my own studio in my home.
Oh, yay,
Yeah.
good for you.
It's a private entrance, so people don't have to come through my residence, and it's so much easier. And I can work on both businesses now, so I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to get in Ubers
Great.
to go back and forth. And then I'm able to also take guests here who want mediumship and Reiki healing. I also do that.
Me too.
We talk-
So much in common. I have to ask you too, because when you do the readings, you're really on a high. I'm always like, I'm on a high. Even talking to you, I get like it's just this energetic high. I
Yeah,
can't ever explain it. People have to experience it.
I take in a lot of energy, and it sometimes it hinders me, but I try not to allow it to hinder me. That I'm not only a medium, but I'm also an empath. So sometimes, if not a lot of the times, I do cry
Mhm.
with my guest in their readings when we're connecting with their spirit guides, especially their past loved ones.
Of course,
I
yeah.
also do readings. I just finished out my 2023 season. It was so sad. It went so fast at the Bristol Renaissance Fair here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And there was a woman that came right towards the end of my shift, and she held my hand and she said, "Please don't think this is weird, but I've been kind of watching you online, and I know you know how to channel spirit." And I said, "No, that's awesome. And she said, "I really want to connect with my husband if that's possible." And I said, "Well, I have no idea who's going to come through." I've spoken to so many mediums, and I've yet to hear anybody say, "Oh, we have control who comes through." Now, we do have control what we allow to
Yeah,
come through.
right.
Nothing dark. But I definitely said, just take the messages and we'll relax. And next thing you know, I'm channeling in her husband that just passed, and she had him on life support for a while.
Mm.
So I felt so much guilt there, and it wasn't her fault. And I cried my eyes out with her.
Yeah.
And I said, I guess this is why I didn't get into psychiatry, because I thought about getting into that field of study. I did study it. And I'm like, last thing you want is your therapist crying all over the place with you.
Oh,
But I just can't
you're still a
help it.
therapist.
My heart bleeds for people, especially when I'm able to connect with their past loved one. I feel like Oda Mae Brown from Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost, that I can do that for people, that I can be the voice of spirit for them and allow them to connect with their loved one again.
Yeah. Beautiful thing. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
your work. For
Thank
fulfilling
you.
your purpose. All right, guys. This has been a great conversation. I'm sure that you've really enjoyed it as well, hearing Olivia's story and all of the cool work she's doing. Again, Oracle Pink, Medium, and Tarot. That's what they
Correct.
put in the search. Wait, go ahead and say it again.
It's Oracle Pink, Medium, and Tarot.
Okay.
And now I'm getting my website built. I had a website, oraclepink.com. And unfortunately, don't do business with GoDaddy. I hope they don't sue me for saying this, but they didn't let me know that my hosting contract expired from the pandemic when I signed up. and they sold my site to another domain company. And now the domain company is full extortion, wants me to buy my website back for $10,000. $10,000.
My website got hacked too, but not by GoDaddy or anyone, but mine got hacked and taken down. So,
Oh boy.
and mine
So
was
I'm having it rebuilt. And have you heard of this? I've never heard of .co, but we're coming into a new technology era. So .co it is. We're going to be www.oraclepink.co. I should be launching my new website in a matter of counting the minutes, 30 days. And I'm going to be posting my events, my schedule, ways to book me, just stuff about my podcast, my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook. I do stay active on all my platforms to contact you guys to let you know when I go live and stuff.
Yay, all those ways that they can connect with you. Well, thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
You're a breath of fresh air. That's what we all needed. And yeah, just proud to be boots on the ground with you here doing I say it, angelic work. And I say it ain't always easy being an angel.
Yeah, when demons try to come after you, but we're not gonna let them stop us.
No, we're not stopping at all. Well, everyone, I'm sending so much love to you. I hope that you are making your way through your own great awakening. Just know that you're not alone ever, that we're in this together, and we are sending so much love your way. Talk soon.
Thank you.